go live, and we are live.
Woo!
Welcome everyone to another week in crypto.
Another day ending with the letter Y.
It's almost getting predictable. Another week in crypto, not the spiciest week in crypto ever, I have to say. It's been a little bit flat, but there are a few things to talk about, a few things to look out for. We are going live at the same time as the US CPI data is supposed to be published. So I'll keep an eye on that, because that is going to have a big effect, I think, on the market, crypto and much else. What else are we going to talk about, Jess?
We're going to take a little bit of a look at the markets right now, the condition that we're in, and how to prepare for the next leg up. As you guys will know, as well as us, the market's had some bullish news. It's had some fairly lackluster news. But in general, we're all just preparing for the big bang, the next exciting wave of momentum. So we'll be sharing a little bit of hints and tips, our crypto journeys from beforehand, how to prepare for the bull market that is coming, should be coming.
Eventually. At some point.
Soon. And what we're doing. And then we'll just take a little look and hear from some of you guys too. Also, we have to discuss, obviously, the big talking point of the week has been Roaring Kitty is back, GameStop is on, and we want to hear your theories on it too. So we'll keep an eye out for some of your suggestions in the chat.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I suppose the big question is, what does Roaring Kitty know that the rest of us don't? Why is he back? Why now?
Oh, we have some theories.
Yeah. We'd love to hear your theories as well. So let us know why you think Roaring Kitty is back. And we'll share what I think may be the tweet of the week. In fact, shall I share that now? Now that we're talking about Roaring Kitty?
Let's do it.
Okay, let me just share my screen here. So this is in response to Roaring Kitty roaring back onto Twitter from Dr. Parik Patel, with lots of letters after his name. Imagine spending 4 years of your life studying efficient market hypothesis, only to see GME rip 100% and add hundreds of millions of dollars of market cap because some guy who calls himself Roaring Kitty tweeted a meme. Absolutely. Very well put.
Couldn't have said it better myself, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
You did a very good impression of Roaring Kitty yesterday. If you have not seen yet our Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
It's just been a long week, guys. A lot has been going on.
It has.
Excellent.
Oh yes, that was for TikTok, wasn't it?
That was for TikTok.
Yeah, the old headband. Yeah. Have you seen that movie, by the way?
Not yet.
I keep forgetting what it's called.
Dumb Money.
Dumb Money. Thank you.
Dumb Money.
Dumb Money. That is a great film.
It's on my watch list for the plane.
Okay.
I feel like it's a good airplane watch. So
Okay.
I will watch it and let you know how it goes.
Good.
Did you also watch it on a plane?
I did watch it on a plane. I tell you what else I watched on a plane as
Go
well.
on.
This is wandering slightly off topic. But Dumb Money is a great movie. So too is BlackBerry,
Okay.
which is all about the invention and phenomenon that was the BlackBerry phone.
You wouldn't assume that would be such a riveting watch.
No.
Is it called BlackBerry?
It is called BlackBerry.
Oh, wow. What a
And
creative
it's
name.
great. It's
Okay.
a really good film, and it's a really good story, and it's got some great characters in it. And even though we know how it ends, it's brilliant.
So we don't know if people ended up globally adopting BlackBerry until until the end of time.
Exactly. No, it's a good movie, and I'm sure there's a lot of profound lessons in that movie for all of us. But did you ever have a BlackBerry?
I did.
Yeah.
I loved my BlackBerry. It was almost like a Nokia brick in the durability. Like an iPhone now is a little bit sensitive, it's got a few cuts and scratches, but a BlackBerry, you could throw that thing down the street. I'm from Wales, so
there's a lot of that sort of stuff going on the mean streets of Cardiff.
Skimming rocks on the ocean, skimming BlackBerries down the street.
Wow, I really must revisit Cardiff one of these days. Okay, speaking of wonderful places in the world, someone's wishing you a happy belated birthday.
Oh, thank you, Cardano Green.
It was Jess's birthday earlier this week, and much cake was bought, and I ate virtually all of it.
I was impressed.
It was a tiramisu cake.
That was the most exciting thing that's happened this week, which for the markets, that is a thing that we really stood out for us and remembered.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cardano Green, for the message. I appreciate it.
But how did the markets react to my eating all of Jess's birthday cake? Well, there you go. Bitcoin
Respect the pump.
With respect the pump. So let's just quickly go over, because when we started, we were on the lookout for that CPI data, which is being published at the same time. As Bullish Mike has helpfully pointed out in the chat, and others, 3.4% as forecast. Let me just share my screen again, and we'll go over to the riveting website that is the Bureau of Labour Statistics. So yeah, 3.4 rose 3.4% over the last 12 months, so year on year, month on month, year on year. Yeah, Bitcoin certainly seems to be ripping as a result. Let's just quickly turn to the charts. It is a nice little vertical green line on Bitcoin's chart.
I like to think it's because we've just gone live at this time, and the many of you that are watching, you've helped us pump it up. But I mean, we've got to give credit where it's due to CPI data coming out.
I rather feel that CPI data played a very small part in this Bitcoin pump, Jess, and I think it's mostly to do with our live stream beginning. You know, the two events happen so close together, Bitcoin pumping and us going live, that I don't think it's a coincidence. I don't think it can be ignored. So you guys are welcome. Well done for pumping it up. There we are, Bitcoin heading towards 64k.
Look at that lovely little green candle.
It makes a nice change, doesn't
it? The best birthday candle one could wish for.
Yeah, so there we are. That's a nice bit of good news in a week that hasn't been exactly full of good news, but there's a few things we can touch on. But obviously, everything else following in Bitcoin's wake. It will be interesting to see what meme coins do in response, because meme coins have been the big winners so far. This week until this CPI data, and that was largely, I think, a result of, as we were talking about earlier, the return of Roaring Kitty, yeah, guy shilling Bitcoin. Yeah.
Stop orange pilling us, guy.
Stop trying to orange pill us on this obscure cryptocurrency thing. And we will also get round to having a look where everyone is joining from as well. But more belated birthday wishes coming in for you, Jess.
Oh, guys, thank you. You're gonna make me blush.
Yeah, so there we are. Lots of people. Suddenly, the mood in the chat is bullish for a change. It's great. Just flips like that.
Look at that.
Just flips like that.
Ride that wave. Woo.
People joining us from Rwanda, apparently, from Kuwait, from New England, from the UAE. Oh, a local. Where else are they joining? Kittens everywhere. Fantastic. Hello from Arizona. Blessings from Florida, USA. Anyone joining from Wales? There must be some. Hoi from Switzerland.
Hi.
Ola from crappy Swindon. Jean, don't be hard on Swindon. In fact, I passed through Swindon on the train at the weekend. I was back in the UK for a few days to see some friends, and passed through Swindon, and the sun was shining, and it didn't look quite as crappy as I remember it. Mind you, everywhere in England looks better when the sun's out.
This is true.
Hello from Italy. I didn't get as far as Wales, sadly. I don't think maybe the sun wasn't shining there.
Maybe.
So it's a mixture of people saying where you're from, where they're from, and wishing you happy birthday. So that's not too bad, is it?
That's great, guys. We love it.
And am I right in thinking that you're off on holiday tomorrow as well?
I am. Tonight, actually.
Tonight?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to view some islands just because I need to prepare for what purchases I'm going to buy next bull market, guys. Like, maybe you want to buy a little island. And then I still have a theory that employee satisfaction, we would all be so much happier if we could bring you all content from a tropical island. So we all went to Seychelles on a company trip. Yeah. And we were all so happy.
The mood,
it was joyous.
Well, certainly those of us that were in Seychelles, the mood lifted.
Yes.
I think those members of the team who didn't go to the Seychelles I don't think their morale was quite so high.
Yes.
But for those of us in Seychelles, it was lovely. So what islands are you checking out?
Mauritius. Hear me out.
How many billions are you planning to make in this bull?
I'm not going to buy the whole island, but just like a nice little seaside villa. And then we can each have a little room just to film some videos from. Okay. You guys can come visit. There's really good rum in Mauritius, apparently.
Right.
So we can, film from a tropical island. I can see Rob from Digital Asset News is in the chat saying, Texas is here. Hey, Rob, great to see you. I know Rob would be down.
Do you think Rob would be down for joining us on a tropical island and filming content there? Rob, what do you think? Should we do NFA? Should we do future editions of NFA? Bull market NFA
edition
from some tropical island somewhere. I mean, you're in Puerto Rico, so maybe we could do it from there. Okay, well, I'm pretty sure Rob will be down with that. Sure, your island or mine.
That is the kind of positive attitude we like to see, Rob. I knew you would be down. This is the thing. First, we've got to get a little group. Then we're going to take over the internet, guys. This is pretty exciting.
Absolutely. We can just have NFA live from deck chairs with pina coladas on the go. I think Ben would be down for that as well.
Yes.
Although I struggle to imagine Ben in a deck chair with a pina colada.
Speaking of pina colada, so I was watching, you're like, oh no, what's she going to say? I was watching Real Vision, Raoul Pal's recent, he has a drinking live stream. It's like Drinks with Raoul. And I was watching the most recent episode. Fantastic, by the way. We are a huge fan of Raoul and Real Vision. Raoul's come on the channel a few times, but he has a nice little glass of wine while he talks about the market. And let us know what you think, guys, if this is something you would like us to introduce, because you've mentioned pina coladas a few times today. And you look a little bit nervous, but I think you've been slowly, subtly planting a seed. So does Guy deserve a break? Does he work too hard? And should we start to film these outside in the sun with a little umbrella hat in our cocktail?
Jess has found out that we used to have a bar in our London office, because we had some people working for us then who really loved the booze. And ever since she's found that out, she's been pushing for us to have a bar here, basically. I think she's going to come back from Mauritius loaded with rum. And we're all going to be alcoholics by the time the bull market comes around. And this will be the problem, Jess. We'll all be so out of it that we won't know what we're doing. It could, I suppose, make us better traders.
We remove the emotion, we remove some of the fear tactic. We're a little bit more confident. We'll get into some of our bull market hints and tips along the way. I actually did not put pina coladas on the list for our bull market strategy, but I can add it if you want. Let us know in the comments, guys.
Do it. Best pina colada I ever had was in Miami when I was there for the Bitcoin conference in 2022. That was a great pina colada. I wish I could remember the name of the bar that I went to, but it was amazing. And actually, you don't get enough good pina coladas these days. Most pina coladas aren't very well made, and it's often just sort of rum and pineapple juice, and it's not good.
Not Meme has said margaritas. Simon Stewart has said C4 and tequila. Simon, my guy, you know us so well.
Apparently, we're going to be sent an energy drink from a meme coin. Now, I'm not going to say which meme coin, because they can send the energy drink first. But apparently, that's happening. So if you see us absolutely out of it, at maximum energy on future live streams, then you'll know that's what it is. Yeah. And if
that doesn't scream 2024, I don't know what is, guys. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So I just want to sort of keep checking back here. Whilst you tell the guys what we're going to talk about, I'll check back in on Bitcoin, shall I?
Absolutely. So we're going to give you guys a little bit of a run through of some of the bullish Bitcoin news that has come out this week. We'll be checking in on El Salvador. We've also got some of the states in the United States that are investing pretty aggressively into spot Bitcoin ETFs. And Michael Saylor, again, has not bought more Bitcoin this time, guys. I know what you're thinking. He's not bought more, but he is very bullish on Bitcoin being adopted by some of the US pension funds. And as we know, the pension fund industry in the US is a absolutely ginormous industry, a $27 trillion industry. Wow. And he is saying, Bitcoin's already being explored by pension funds, and Bitcoin is going to be a really key component of US pension funds in the future.
Okay.
So there is some bullish news that we've got coming out in regards to that. We've got some updates from Galaxy Digital, some of their revenues that we'll run through, and then some more crypto news. Maybe I can start with some of the pension data, or Do you want to start with an update on Bitcoin? Are we even higher than we were last time?
Well, I'm looking at it. We're just over 63K now. So but I mean, looking at the chart, it's already, that pump is already sort of slightly tailing off. But let's see. It's certainly encouraging. This is, for anyone wondering, for anyone sort of not aware, this is because of the CPI data, the inflation data that's just come out in the United States. It has remained pretty much the same. Crucially, it's remained in line with expectations. The markets don't like a surprise. Basically, they like they like certainty. They like to have their expectations confirmed. So that is why we're seeing a pump in crypto at the moment. That CPI data has come in very much according to expectations. Inflation is still high, but it hasn't got any higher. Does this do an awful lot to change the prospect of a Fed pivot anytime soon and interest rates coming down? I would say probably not, but it does at least mean that we can perhaps stop talking about interest rates going back up again.
Yes.
I don't think that really changes the overall picture from what it was, earlier today before the CPI came out. I think interest rates are probably likely to stay where they are for the time being, for the next few months. And what makes it complicated is the fact that the US election is coming up in November. And I think that between now and then, we've only got a few months. And I think the Fed won't want to be lowering interest rates, I should say, too close to the election. Because then I think they'll be worried about being accused of being too political.
Yes.
So I guess if the Fed does want to cut rates, it hasn't got all that long to do it, and I don't think it will do it off the back of just a nothing really changed CPI print. That's my personal opinion. But let's see. It's not. I wouldn't say it's amazing news, but it's certainly not bad news.
Yes.
Yeah.
And until we do see the Fed make a movement in one direction, we're kind of expecting a period of calm, aren't we, in the markets? There's not going to be much that really alters the investor sentiment in the crypto market. That being said, we do have some interesting news that's coming out for Bitcoin. Do you want me to reel off some of the fun news we've seen this week?
Yeah, hit it.
Okay, state of Wisconsin. If anyone's watching from Wisconsin, give us a little wave so we can give you a shout out. The investment board, which is responsible for the pension funds and the public pensions, they purchased $164 million in spot Bitcoin ETFs.
Okay, that is encouraging.
$99 million of BlackRock spot Bitcoin ETF, and then $64 million of Grayscales. They've also invested in stocks from the likes of Coinbase and MicroStrategy.
Okay,
which is a pretty bullish news.
That is bullish. That is bullish. That's interesting. So they're allocating money to crypto, obviously indirectly, but also to crypto adjacent stocks like MicroStrategy and Coinbase.
Yeah, absolutely.
Interesting. Okay, so this is Wisconsin's state pension fund.
Yes.
Okay. And
the state of Wisconsin's investment board.
Okay.
Which is responsible for the public pensions.
Okay.
Yeah.
I must say, I don't know. My assumption is that the good people of Wisconsin, certainly the people working for Wisconsin's state investment fund, are probably slightly more conservative types. I don't see them being the sort of people to YOLO in on something completely speculatively. So this is an interesting one to see, but perhaps I'm wrong. Perhaps folks in Wisconsin are notorious degenerates. So if you're in the United States and you have some alpha on that, do let us know. Could this open the door to more?
And I think as well, investing in crypto was always a fairly degenerate play. But in 2024, with the spot Bitcoin ETFs, and this goes back to what Michael Saylor was saying, that Bitcoin as a component for US pension funds, the $27 trillion industry is already being explored. Is investing in crypto a degenerate play in 2024 for institutions and for public pension funds? Or is it seen as, very conservative to the point that it's idiotic to not have 1%, 2%, 3% of your larger investment allocation in a high risk asset like crypto that does perform exceedingly well during a bullish market?
Yeah. And could there be other pension funds, other state investment funds to come? Because even a small percentage of that $27 trillion industry that you talked about, that is that will be enough to pump the markets big time.
Yeah. And Eric Balchunas, I probably cite this man every live stream. So Eric, we need to just get Eric on the show, I think. He said, it's a good sign. Expect more. Institutions tend to move in herds. So Wisconsin has been one we've commented on. Is this going to be a weekly thing? Are we going to see states around the United America investing in Bitcoin?
Let's hope so.
Let's
hope so. Because I guess, these ETFs, this is the way they like to invest. They like that. This is what's made it such an attractive asset for institutions, because it's offered by other institutions. It's offered by the likes of BlackRock, who these folks trust and know well. And that has given it a kind of legitimacy that I don't think really anything else could. The price could have continued going up, without these ETFs perhaps. But even if it had gone to 100K, even if it had set a new all-time high without these ETFs, I don't think you'd see institutions putting that level of trust in it as an asset. It's because their mates are basically offering it.
And I did a little bit of a deep dive into the head of digital assets at BlackRock's social media and recent press and public PR appearances. And he had spoken out saying that pension funds across the US, multiple pension funds, are carrying out due diligence for Bitcoin investments. So we're starting to talk about it a little bit of a trickle, but in 1 or 2 years, it might be the norm. It might be a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Let's wait and see.
Yeah, we could already be on our way.
Yes.
Okay, so let's just touch back on Roaring Kitty then, shall we?
Yeah.
Because I think this is the definitely up until the CPI today, this was the big story of the week. So Roaring Kitty, whose actual name escapes me. It's
Keith Gill.
Keith Gill. There we are. Thank you. Or Roaring Kitty. He was the guy. I don't know if you've seen that movie Dumb Money, but he was the guy with the bandana who sort of was very much one of the driving forces behind that whole GameStop, the GME saga, and had become a bit of a cult figure and hadn't posted in 3 years. He hadn't posted since 2021.
Yes.
And then just the other day, he posted that picture of the guy sort of leaning forward in his chair, and the internet went absolutely bananas.
Yeah. I think it's because people that were in crypto in 2021 remember how euphoric / insane that period was, because there wasn't much going on. It was, people were waiting for the market to fully kind of optimize and pick up again. And then all of a sudden you have mainstream media talking about Wall Street versus Main Street. You're getting the institutions and institutional investors that are shorting specific stocks, and then you get in the retail investors coming and saying, no way. And that was the first time I think that we've seen coverage of the crypto community and this kind of community ecosystem that we work in getting covered, and people outside of crypto can see the impact of it. And I was getting so many messages then. When we look at market sentiment, that was one of the periods that I have non-crypto friends asking me about the industry. And I remember I was working with Bitpanda, and we just introduced fractionalized stock investing. And everyone was like, oh my God, like this one man tweeting, and also on Reddit threads, like Wall Street Bets, the threads, has made stock investing sexy and cool and degenerate, which is something that typically you wouldn't assume the two would go hand in hand.
It was that sort of immaculate crossover of crypto and TradFi, and the sort of incumbents didn't like it, did they? And there was that extraordinary thing where Robinhood basically halted trading of the stock, and I think that really woke so many people up to just how rigged this Wall Street system is. Their mates were getting cleaned out, because all these institutions had shorted GME and were now getting wiped out because the stock just kept on going up. And so Robinhood bowed to pressure from other Wall Street entities, and tried to put a stop to it. And I think that was the moment for a lot of people where they realized that it's just the game is rigged.
But just for some context on how much Keith Gill, Roaring Kitty, made in 2021, starting with the post from Reddit, he had around a $53,000 exposure into the GameStop stocks. And that turned into close to $50 million at the peak of the GameStop.
That's
Wild.
crazy, isn't it? That's crazy. Yeah, it's a great film, as I said, Dumb Money, that talks about it. And Ben Mesrick, who wrote the book on which it is based, also wrote a great book called Bitcoin Billionaires, which is about the Winklevoss twins, which I think would make a good film as well.
Yeah.
But crypto films are only for bull markets, folks.
Yeah,
that's when you know you're in a bull market, because you see because you start seeing talk about crypto films as well. I wonder, because I remember during the last bull market, or sort of close to the end of it, there was talk about filming Camilla Russo's book about Ethereum, The Infinite Machine, and also Laura Shin's book about Ethereum, The Cryptopians. I think Camilla's was supposed to be made into a film, perhaps, and Laura's was going to be made into a TV show. I must say, I haven't heard anything from them since then. So maybe they're in development. But I have said before, if or when you see those on Netflix, that's the top. Just so as you know. Just so as you know. The next time there's a sort of film about crypto that isn't sort of uniformly negative, that's probably the market top.
Shall I share my screen and show everyone the tweet from Roaring Kitty and get everyone, because I'd like to hear from you guys as well on the theory of what this means. Oh, let me.
There it is.
Dun, 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 dun.
One picture just sends everybody bananas.
26.1 million views, that one image. Social media managers around the world must be trembling at the influence one Mr. Roaring Kitty has. So yeah, everyone's wondering the theories. I'm not sure whether, because I saw one comment here saying that maybe he just sold his social media account.
Yes.
Which actually is a good point, because we have seen no YouTube videos coming out from Roaring Kitty.
Yeah.
So that could be, which would just lead to, don't trust, verify before we start pumping the GameStop.
Yeah, could be. Well, let's give him the benefit of the doubt and just say that he's back. He's back to make a load of people rich on paper again. He said that the account has been. Can you have a look at the account, actually?
Of course I can.
It does seem to have just been sort of tweeting videos, although that was very much his thing anyway, wasn't it?
Yes.
Just sort of tweeting videos. That I guess. Oh, has he tweeted more in the last few minutes?
He's unstoppable. 12 minutes. What is he saying now?
Wow, this is a job in 2024.
I wonder if it's because we've suddenly seen the institutions, because he was very much us and them. It was us, the retail investors, regular people against the big dog. Is it because we have now seen a line blurred with the spot Bitcoin ETFs, institutions coming into crypto, that he's just kind of getting this tribalism back? Guys, we're back. Don't let them come in and take our orange gains.
Yeah,
that could be.
That could be it. Maybe he's here to warn us all, to keep everyone in line.
Can you imagine his wife not understanding what he actually does and the influence he has on the market, and suddenly being like, sorry, what? So people call you Roaring Kitty and people watch what you do, and you've been able to inject millions into the market.
If the film is to be believed, I think she was sort of, she was a sort of slightly bewildered bystander to it all. But, encouraged him to a point, but was sort of the supposedly voice of sanity. What she must all make of it now. And a few people pointing out in the comments as well that apparently GME trading has been halted a few times this time around as well, which I can well believe. I did hear something about that yesterday. Yeah. Oh yes, Hajami Nola. Let me see if I can just bring this comment up here. Yesterday they halted GME 34 times. Now I believe this is done, or supposedly this is done when a stock starts behaving strangely. They supposedly are able to halt trading. This is obviously done in the name of protecting investors.
Yeah, a little circuit breaker. They'll add it in to protect the likes of me and you. Obviously not the institutions or the big dogs.
Obviously not.
Obviously not. But crypto never halts, guys. That's why we're all in the right industry.
Yeah, and the hypocrisy of it is crazy, really, isn't it? Because so many times they like to talk about how crypto markets are manipulated.
Yeah.
It's like, so are stock markets. so is pretty much every market. It's crazy. But yet, you know, crypto is the big villain in all of this. So that is the return of Roaring Kitty. Watch this space.
Yes.
Maybe this will be the moment that we all look back on in a few months or years' time and go, that was it. That was when it started.
That's the ring ding.
I remember.
And that would just be such a kind of parody of us all waiting for, you know, CPI data, the Fed to suddenly move interest rates. And then all of a sudden, this one guy wearing a headband comes back, does a tweet of a meme, and that's what moves the market. And
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it past this beautiful industry, to be completely honest. Anything is possible.
Absolutely. David T has an interesting theory. Plot twist. Roaring Kitty's wife is Satoshi. That the internet wouldn't be able to cope with that, David.
What a fun dinner party, though. Could you imagine those two? Oh, my goodness. I bet they'd make a good pina colada for you, too.
I bet they would. I bet they would. Between them, there's nothing they can't achieve. David, if that somehow turned out to be true, I think so many people's minds would be blown. It would be an absolute scandal. Let's hope it is true. Okay, right. What's next, Jess? What are we going to talk about?
I have a little bit of a quiz for you.
Okay.
And for you all watching too, you know, I like to ask you guys a little bit of a fun game. For those of you that have not seen the headline already, we have some news that have come out from El Salvador. So since 2021, El Salvador has been mining Bitcoin using their geothermal power-fueled volcanoes.
Okay.
Guess, since 2021, how many Bitcoin El Salvador has mined?
Okay, put it in the comments, folks. I think I know the answer to this, so I'm going to I'm going to give the people in the chat a chance first.
I did say it out loud today.
Did you?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
I knew it anyway. I knew it before.
I knew it before. But I think you might have had your headphones on, because I was going to say don't listen, and I thought that will make you listen even more. And you politely zone out when I'm filming a TikTok, because you know that it takes you about 17 takes to perform it.
There we are. It's a sneak behind the curtain.
Ooh,
some interesting guesses here in the comment. Okay, so people guessing how many Bitcoins has El Salvador mined between, what was it,
2021 to now, using their geothermal Bitcoin volcanoes. Blacky Bird 64 says 10.
10. God, that would be.
Stephen Sargent says 5,746.
Yep. Kevin M around 15,000. Gage Ferry 380. Ian G 500-ish. Hedging your bets there, Ian. Giret 760. Adrian Ragbeer says 10,000. Wow, that would be pretty good. But I'm seeing some what I think are correct answers in there.
We are seeing some correct answers. So, ladies and gentlemen, the correct answer for El Salvador mining Bitcoin is 474. A lot of you there. Rusty Bot was very close. We have, you know, Somewhere on Beach, Brian Seaway.
Yeah.
Ian G was technically right. Ian G, though, your price predictions would also be very good. You know, like we're going to be somewhere around this price point. Bogdan T.
Yeah.
Lucas,
that's an interesting bet. That would be a great headline. El Salvador mines 666 Bitcoins. No, the answer was 474. Well done, guys. Yeah.
Was that what you were going to say?
Yes.
Are you sure? Are you lying? Yes. We should have got Guy to write it down, because I don't know if he's being...
I got all the clever people in the comments to give the answer. I think I knew it was around 400, but I wasn't sure it was 4. I was going to say 450. So
I was initially expecting it to be more, but that's because I personally have never mined Bitcoin. So I don't know whether I was expecting the numerous active volcanoes El Salvador has to have a bit more of a robust mining opportunity. But they recently have put another 1.5 billion, I believe, with volcanic energy into Bitcoin mining. So maybe the only way, surely the only way is up.
You would hope so.
You would hope so.
Tether is getting involved in Bitcoin mining in El Salvador, isn't it?
$500 million of investments into Bitcoin mining across Latin America. So not just El Salvador, but the whole shebang. So Bitcoin mining still lucrative in 2024.
Yeah.
It's halving.
I'd still love to know how much Bitcoin Tether is buying with its profits. It said a while ago that it was going to use a percentage, I think it was 15% of its profit, or maybe 5% of its profits to buy BTC. We haven't had, I don't think we've had an update on how much BTC Tether holds now or has been buying.
Yeah.
But maybe they're buying this particular pump at the moment. Bitcoin currently sitting just a shade under 64K.
Ooh, so exciting.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it, that with this is Bitcoin's been kind of a bit range bound recently around the sort of 60K mark, and everyone's been a little bit depressed about it. And it's like, guys, it's 60K.
Yeah,
it was in the 20Ks not that long ago. It could be a lot worse. Count your blessings. Okay.
I have seen one comment here, which is from and I'm keen to answer it just because I actually do know the answer. Web Wonder US has said, do we know who Mr. 100 is? And we actually did a video on this a while ago. I think it was a week ago on TikTok. If you guys aren't following us there, do make sure to do so. Mr. 100, which is the 14th biggest BTC holder, is Upbit, the South Korean crypto exchange.
Is that right?
Yes. So it's not me or Guy. I know that was the second.
I'm Mr. 101.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. I missed out on that. Oh, yeah. So okay. So Upbit. Well, we all know what utter degenerates they are in Korea.
Yes.
Absolutely crazy for crypto then over there. Okay. So that's so we've covered that. We've covered sort of Bitcoin good news. What else are we talking about today?
So what else do we have? We have Mike Novogratz echoing, actually, before the CPI data came out, echoing what you have just clarified. So maybe you called it before, Mike Novogratz, who knows? That, what we're seeing this quarter is a little bit of a lull in the range between 55K and 75K until we see either the Fed start to cut rates because the economy finally slows, or we get through the elections, and the elections can bring clarity one way or the other with crypto regulations. So giving a little bit of a breakdown either way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Mike on that one. I think until we see an easing of monetary policy,
yes,
until we see those interest rates start to tick down, and therefore put more money sort of indirectly in people's pockets,
yeah,
or stop taking so much money out of people's pockets and leave them with a bit more at the end of every month, I don't think we can really expect the crypto market to go wild until that happens.
Yes. That being said, though, so because we were speaking about companies that are investing in mining operations and mining Bitcoin as a lucrative industry, Galaxy Digital, which is the investment firm which Mike Novogratz is the CEO of, their mining revenue is up a record $31.5 million, up 69% from last quarter, because they've had an expansion in mining capacity. And also Galaxy Digital's trading revenue is up 78% to 66 million from last quarter.
Okay.
And yeah, so although he's saying, he's expecting the markets to stay in this range until we do see something interesting from the Fed or from the US elections, bringing a bit more regulatory clarity, what's interesting is that we are still seeing entities that are actively involved in crypto still recording significant profits. Tether, profits there, left, right, and center. So much profits, they could really share it with everyone else that holds crypto, but I don't think they would want to. That probably wouldn't be a smart business idea from them.
Probably not that smart. A few people, or maybe one person who's just being very loud about it in the comments, is asking for a bit of hopium for SWI. SWI, because I think you and Nick were talking about SWI in a recent Q&A, were you not?
We were, yes. Someone was asking us what our thoughts were on SWI and the investment opportunities that it brings. I personally hold SWI in my personal portfolio, and I have done for a few months. We also have had Adonai, who's one of the co-founders of Miston Labs and SWI, on the Coin Bureau Discord AMA, which we do have a copy of the recording, so if you guys want to give that a listen. I am pretty bullish on SWI. I know they've had a slight price retracement, but I think the fact that a lot of the team members previously met and worked together at Facebook shows they have a very good Web 2 understanding of marketing, of partnerships, of expansion, mixed with a significant knowledge of Web 3. They are a very fast blockchain, and I think that will come in very handy for gaming and for other elements too. They actually have, for those of you that are based in Dubai, they have a SWI Connect meetup on the 23rd of May.
Okay.
So they regularly come here and have small talks where the CEOs and co-founders will talk about what they're expanding. But the last large press that we saw from SWE was in April, mid-April. There was the base camp in Paris, which was coinciding with Paris Blockchain Week, where they announced a range of physical Web 2 to Web 3 gaming consoles in partnership with a gaming platform. And I'm expecting to see a lot more slow and consistent rollouts from them in the next few months. And I think they market pretty well when it comes to being able to speak a language for non-crypto degens like us. So I am still holding. Yeah.
There you are. There's some hopium on SWE. SWE got the token, the coin, I should say, has been dumping recently because there was a massive unlock. I guess this is the sort of bearish aspect of SWE, and it's not alone, of course. There are lots of other cryptos like this, but at the moment, less than a quarter of the coin is in circulation. It's got a max supply of 10 billion, and a little over 2.3 billion is currently circulating. So, and I have seen this with some other cryptos, some other coins and tokens recently, that these big cliff unlocks that have come along, they are affecting the price. They don't always. Pith was another one. Pith, which I also hold. That had a big unlock recently as well, and it's not always, especially when markets are really on fire. It's not always something that has sort of the effect you might expect. But at the moment, with markets struggling and there being a lot of sell pressure going on, these big unlocks are sort of affecting price. So I think that's probably the main reason why SWE is down pretty bad over the last month or so. Well, yeah, I guess mostly over the last month, ever since that big unlock. So that is something that you always need to look out for. I myself bought some SWE and some Pith quite a while back. And I was aware that both unlocks were in the future. Now, like a lot of people sometimes ask me, it's like, well, if you know these unlocks are coming, then why don't you wait until then to buy? And it's a good question, but like I look at it like, well, for one thing, you don't always know the effect that these unlocks are going to have, and for another thing, I don't know if you guys feel this, but this is something that I find very kind of works for me in a way, is that once I've identified a crypto that I like, that I'm bullish on, like for instance Pith or SWE, and I think this has got really long-term potential, because I don't really have a short-term mindset. I try to think in terms of many months and years. So I find that if I'm sort of thinking about a particular crypto and I'm really bullish on it, then unless I go ahead and buy some at what seems a reasonable price at the time, then it's just going to sort of take up valuable bandwidth in my brain. And I'm getting on a bit. There isn't all that much bandwidth to spare these days. So I like to, once I have it in my portfolio, weirdly enough, I tend to sort of forget about it. It's the things on my watch list that I'm sort of thinking about all the time. Once I put something in the portfolio, it tends to just be there, and I can think about it a lot further down the line. So that's one of the reasons I bought Pith and SWE, a while back, just because I just needed to kind of get them out of my mind, get them in the portfolio, and then it's something to worry about a lot further on. Do you feel the same way, Jess?
Well, I'm not a trader, so for me, I like to have longer term positions anyway. I do feel that if I'm reallocating and moving around my portfolio in a too frequent manner, I can fumble my bag by missing out on some of those 10, 20, maybe more gains, because I'm moving things around and rotating and missing some of the upward potential. So if I've got something on my watch list, if I've interviewed the team, you guys have joined the AMA spaces, and I'm bullish long term, it doesn't make sense for me to reallocate every time there is a token unlock, because I am more cautious about re-entering at a higher price point. Or then, how would you reallocate? What if that token goes down? For me, it's easier just to keep an eye, and if the price does dip in an attractive manner, potentially buy some more. You have to follow the Coin Bureau Club to see our full portfolio. Yeah.
And of course, Sunny 78682 took the words right out of my mouth. And this is something that I have done a lot in the past. I haven't done it so much recently, but DCA is the way, dollar cost averaging.
Yeah.
That is a way to sort of take your take your mind off, especially if you automate it on an exchange.
Yeah.
You know, you can just be like, yeah, okay, I'll just buy the same amount every month, and that has been shown to work just as well. I need to get back to DCA.
Yeah.
I used to be really good at it, and then I kind of got out of the habit a little bit. And then I think, you know, in the last couple of years, everything's been so crazy, and there are so many new coins and tokens on the market that my brain's sort of looking in 1,000 different directions. So I need to sort of get back on that, because DCAing is a great way to just free up mindshare. Identify what you want to get into, DCA every month, and you know, chances are you'll do just as well as if you try to buy the dip each time.
Yes. James Lowe is asking, are you both as bullish on NIA as you are on SWE? Which is a very good question.
Yeah. Do you hold NIA?
I personally don't hold NIA, but it is on my watch list.
Okay.
What?
I do hold some NIA.
Okay.
I bought some a while back. I think a couple of others of us do. I think Nick, our CEO, might hold some NIA as well. But I am bullish on NIA. I became sort of bullish on it after we did an update on it on the main channel. Well, you interviewed Ilya.
I did, yes. That is on Coin Bureau Clips. We interviewed him in last month, I believe.
Yeah, it was around Token 2049, wasn't it?
Yes, and I find Ilya a fascinating gentleman. I was so intrigued by the contribution he's done to the AI industry as a whole, and I think his rollout plans for NIA in the next year are going to be pretty impressive. He does give some of the indicators and things to watch out for in the interview. So if you guys have not seen that yet, do make sure to go and give it a watch. But I was definitely more bullish. Oh, congratulations, Muji.
Well done, Muji.
Well done, Muji.
That is, I didn't buy near anything close to $1.50. Unfortunately, it was a lot more than that. NIA was a good example of what I was talking about earlier. I was kind of looking at it for a long time, and thinking, oh, if it just sort of goes back, but I mean, at one point it was below $1, or just below $1, and I kept thinking, oh, if it just sort of retraces a little bit, then I'll pick some up. And I just dithered on it. And that, again, this is something that I've done a lot this cycle. Actually, I've looked at things, I've gone, that looks great, I'll just keep an eye on that, and dithered, and then the price has gotten away from me as well. Helium, HNT, is another good example of that. Just slept on it. So you could move a little faster in hindsight. I could not be as impatient and not sell my Ton coin too early. I think about it every day. But the thing is, and you guys remind me almost every day, everyone has a few little short-term trades but at the end of the day, a market cycle goes on for several years. If you accumulate, hold your bags, and just take profits every so often, you will be fine. You will be absolutely okay. You cannot look back and sell the top of everything. Do not listen to crypto Twitter when people say to you, every single trade is a successful one, because it's not the case. It's not true. Hardly anyone ever sells the top. Gordon Duncan, if that's true, sir, if you have 20K NIA bought at roughly $1, drinks, my friend, are going to be on you. Okay, so just be aware of that. Gosh, I hope that's true. That would be amazing. Well done, sir. Okay, so paper hands Jess, Simon.
Classic. Classic. But you know what? I still like to remind you guys that I did buy Toncoin when it was less than $2. Yes, I might have sold it just a little bit later. Irrelevant. Yeah. You know, I saw the potential.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh, well, sometimes you've got to act. Going viral. Thank you. I know I'm so beautiful, but I'm not single, unfortunately. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry. I hate to disappoint you guys. I really try and give you good news, but I appreciate the compliment. I really do. Thank you. Right. What else are we going to talk about?
Muji's asking, Jess, are you selling any coins soon? No, Muji, I am not. I've learned my lesson from Toncoin, and I'm not selling. I'm just going to probably sell a kidney instead and put it into some crypto at this rate, because how the markets are looking, well, I'm not drinking with you guys anyway, so I don't even need my kidney.
Not financial advice. Please do not sell your kidneys for crypto. My word. Oh, God. Okay. Anything else on the? Gosh, we've rattled through 50 minutes. It's hard to know where the time goes.
So you do have an update on the Tornado Cash.
Oh yeah. Okay. Serious news.
Yeah.
serious news and not very good news either. So you guys remember this was back in 2022 that this first happened, when OFAC, the Office of Foreign Assets Control, this rather scary department of the US Treasury, they sanctioned Tornado Cash, this mixing protocol on Ethereum that was apparently being used, I think it was by the Lazarus Group, by North Korea's hackers, to mix and therefore launder stolen funds. So these sanctions were leveled on it, and both the developer, I think the lead developer, this guy Alexei Pertsev, was arrested in the Netherlands, and was recently put on trial, found guilty of money laundering. They're saying $1.2 billion worth of crypto via Tornado Cash, and he has just been sentenced this week to 64 months, which is just over 5 years in prison. I should say as well that so he was the lead developer on it. There were also the two co-founders, these two Romans, Roman Storm and Roman Semenyov. Roman Storm is due to stand trial in the US later this year. And yeah, this is a pretty bleak story, really. Yeah. Because, you know, basically what these guys did is developed a tool that preserved privacy. And you know, this is essentially what many people pointed out is a violation of free speech, because code is essentially, writing code is essentially a method of communication, if you like, a method of speech. And this guy Alexei Pertsev has been sentenced to over 5 years in prison for doing this. And the argument coming out from a lot of people in the crypto community is, well, you know, these guys developed this tool and then the bad guys used it. Now, is that really? Shouldn't you be going after the bad guys? Like, isn't it more important to catch the bad guys who are actually doing this in the first place, rather than go after the people who are building privacy preserving technology? There are obviously, you know, there are people who will say, well, if they're building these tools, they're only making it easier for the bad guys. But still, I think this is a pretty grim news, and I think it sets a really dangerous precedent. We saw the guys from the Samurai wallet have also been gone after recently, and I saw a great tweet earlier this week. I wish I must start saving these things to show you guys in the thing, but someone pointed out that if Satoshi Nakamoto were around today, they would probably be in a US prison. And it's kind of it just shows you how prescient Satoshi was to disappear when they did, because, you know, this is the situation, not just in the United States, although the fact that this happened in the Netherlands, you know, this has got obviously America's hands all over it, America's fingerprints all over it. But it is a really dangerous precedent. Like, developers are now being sanctioned and now being put in prison for writing code. And this is the way that they are going after the crypto industry. A protocol, it may be decentralized, it may be impossible to take it down, but there are still people behind it. And that is who they are choosing to go after in a lot of cases. And unfortunately, Tornado Cash is not the only one. And there probably will be more. And that, I think, is really, really worrying. So some bad news, unfortunately, for crypto this week. And keep a lookout for this. As I say, Roman Storm, one of the co-founders of Tornado Cash, is due to stand trial in the US, I think, later this year. So that will be, you know, that will be another worrying precedent to set as well. So yeah, sorry, that's a bit of a bum bit of news, really, but yeah, certainly something to look out for. Okay. What else were we going to talk about?
Just as a quick recap of things to look out for. So this time next week, we have NVIDIA earnings out. So on the 22nd of May, we have NVIDIA earnings. They're expecting revenues of $24 billion, plus or minus roughly 2%. That would equate to a 233% increase from Q1. So there's a lot of expectations in the market. So for AI stocks and also AI related cryptos, it's worth keeping an eye on market expectations, market sentiment, because even fairly positive data might still underwhelm investors that are investing in AI related cryptos or AI related stocks. So that's one thing that I would say, keep an eye on your calendar.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. There's and the AI hype just shows no sign of slowing down.
Correct.
As of course does the meme coin hype as well.
Yes.
Meme coins have been the big winners so far this week. Obviously now the market's sort of more generally is pumping off the back of that CPI print that we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
But certain meme coins, I mean, it's hard, isn't it? Because you look at the big gainers and losers. Let me just share the screen with you guys here, because I mean this is how tricky it is, because you sort of think, oh well, meme coins are pumping, so you know any of them are going to do well. But there are meme coins on both sides of this table. It's crazy. If you look at, you know, the Biden one is up, the Trump one is down. Kitty coins seem to be doing pretty badly. Whereas, you know, some of these other ones on Solana are doing pretty well. Pepe was obviously a big winner this week as well. Pepe it will not go away. And
I think part of that was also due to Roaring Kitty coming back.
Yeah.
But then interesting that Crypto Kitty meme coins have not been doing well.
Yeah, what's that about?
Make it make sense, guys. So Pepe, Floki was another big one. And then we also had Arweave was up. So Arweave had the launch of the new AO gamepad. Acash Network is also up, and that's one interesting thing. If you are holding Acash, is they have their Acash Accelerate conference on the 28th of May, where Eric Voorhees will be a speaker.
Okay.
So if you're holding Acash or it's on your watch list, maybe look into tuning into that and seeing what interesting announcements or updates or talks could come out of that specific conference.
Okay.
I like to keep an ear to the ground of crypto events, and I think it's good if you're, you know, watching a specific coin.
Yeah, that can have a big bearing on what happens in the markets afterwards.
Yeah.
Gosh, I see one of the big losers is Roll Bitcoin. I have some RLB in my portfolio, and it's been an absolute dog for me pretty much ever since I bought it. I think it went up a little bit after I bought some, and then went right down. I was completely behind that narrative because you know that was back before these ETFs got approved, when everything, you know, this is sort of last year, I think, and everything was kind of bearish and it was all looking pretty gloomy. And the only things that seemed to be doing well were sort of gaming and casinos and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I thought, oh, Roll Bitcoin, you know, I think Rollbit could go places, and it's just been down ever since I bought it, Jess.
Oh, but you know, a win is a win, guys, and we can't win every little bit.
No,
we can't.
Otherwise,
we wouldn't be here giving the live stream. No, I'm kidding. We would never leave you guys. We would never.
Yeah. So there we are. It's it's just impossible. It's impossible to call these, but yeah, meme coins. It's definitely going to be watched. Definitely something to watch. Because they just seem unstoppable. But it's so difficult to predict which one. So yeah, be very careful.
Simon J. Stewart is asking, why don't you call meme coins shit coins anymore? That's a good question that I don't actually know the answer to.
Yeah, I think, well, it's a good question. I mean, I don't think shit coins necessarily covered only meme coins. I think, you know, there are plenty of not exactly meme coins which are still arguably shit.
Poetically put.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was very well timed, wasn't it? But of course, yeah, meme coins did come under the shitcoins logo at one point. It's, I don't know, shitcoin seems to be more of a kind of Bitcoin maxi phrase now.
Yeah, for anything that's not Bitcoin.
Yeah, you know.
And meme coins is, J. Rue has pointed out, they're not shitty because they make money. So yeah, meme coins making you rich.
That's very true. Very true. Yeah, and I think it's one of the interesting things of this cycle that meme coins have become more, I don't think mainstream's the word, like kind of more acceptable.
Yeah.
People have kind of stopped fading them. And I should say, you know, I'm guilty of that. I faded meme coins for a long, long time. Because I just, you know, I could not get my head around why people were so into them. But now I think, you know, it's especially if you saw that financial nihilism video that we did on the main channel recently, you know, I think meme coins seem to offer this potential opportunity to people in this world where, you know, the way that people used to generate wealth in the past is becoming sort of harder and harder to do, more and more irrelevant. People don't have the sort of savings that they used to.
Yeah.
People don't have the opportunity to earn, you know, to earn decent money on their savings. And, you know, you can put money into stocks, but sometimes you don't, you know, that's not enough. You don't get enough in the way of returns to sort of buy the sort of stuff that you used to be able to do in the past. Like, you know, it's so difficult for people now to even just get on the housing ladder, even to get a roof over their heads.
Yeah.
And I think a part of it is just, there is that kind of nihilistic aspect to it. It's just like, hey, you know, I've got a few $100. I'm not going to make anything trading stocks, or, you know, I don't know anything about it, but hey, if I put it on a meme coin, maybe, just maybe, it'll go crazy. And I think that's kind of, I think that's really sad in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you know, it is kind of an expression of this internet culture that we have now, you know, and it's kind of the way crypto has gone, and the kind of organic way of it. Like, you could call it depressing. You could say, well, this is not what Satoshi had in mind when they designed Bitcoin, but it is kind of, it is the market working in its own mysterious way, and it's quite exhilarating to see it, even if it is even if you are just like, wow, this is so crazy.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's my that's my sort of personal take on it.
And it's a nice note to end on, because you're ending with Bitcoin at $64,190.
Yeah.
So we've broke past that $64,000 mark.
Hallelujah. Well done, Bitcoin.
Woo.
Well done, all you guys.
Well done, you guys.
Well done, all you,
sticking with us.
all you apes out there, all you bulls who have just waited for that CPI print, gone, okay, boom, here we go. I wonder if it's retail, or maybe just people buying the ETFs, or both. But whoever's buying, well done. Keep it up. Not financial advice. Okay, yeah, gosh, we are on the hour there. Was there anything else that we were going to particularly cover in this?
That was absolutely everything.
Okay. We were going to talk a little bit about preparing for the bull market. Have we?
I think that was covered. We've kind of covered it.
Okay.
Which was, you know, dollar cost averaging, getting back into it, not fumbling your bag. We don't look at the tokenomics too much when it comes to unlocking, because we don't want to miss out on something that might have been factored in.
Very true.
We both shared a little bit of a mistake and then a little bit of a jump on in there.
There you are.
Let us know your thoughts.
Yeah. Let us know how you're preparing for the bull market. And it could be a while yet, folks. You know, I think this summer could drag on a little bit, but it's really important to keep a long-term view. Leave the sort of short-term stuff. Leave that to the traders and to the real sort of degenerates out there. It's like, they can do what they do with that information. But for most of us, you know, myself, Jess included, sometimes it's just about hanging on in there and having a long-term time horizon, because that is where the big gains are made over the long term.
Thou shalt not pay per hand this market cycle.
Amen.
But thou shalt take profits.
Thou shalt take profits. Thou shalt not pay per hand. Yes, absolutely. Well done, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We will be back next week. I will be back on NFA tomorrow with Rob and Ben. Yes, me. I haven't done NFA for ages.
Oh my God.
So Ben and Rob, you better be quaking in your boots, because I will be back with a vengeance. So looking forward to that, and looking forward to seeing you guys again very soon. Thanks for joining us. Okay, and let's end it there.